I'm just another prod guy at MoEngage. At MoEngage, we believe in making user engagement and retention easier and powerful. We are a growing company that envisions that every interaction that you're making with your customer should be personalized, should not be generic, so that it can drive back value for you. But the fact of the matter is that personalization is easier said than done. I'll tell you why. Most of the customer engagement today is completely based on rules. Rules that are probably a calculated guesswork, or in some cases a bit biased, and in probably lesser cases a bit archaic. And managing these rules is a nightmare for every marketer. I'll give you an example so that you understand the gravity of the problem here. On a simple engagement platform, what you do is you first try to segment your audience. And to segment your audience, if you see, how would an entertainment app try to understand that who are the users who are having the affinity for language Hindi? So that whenever I'm having a new content coming up in Hindi, I can target this user segment, right? So the proxy for that is that some users who have played song or video at least 3 times in the last X days. I'm not sure how right it is. Similarly for an e-commerce app or for any other app, just to understand the dormancy, marketers say that users who have not opened the app in the last 30 days. And this is not all. These rules of engagement apply on segmentation. They also apply on messaging, where marketers choose 1 or 2 messages, A/B test them, and then roll out the winner, assuming that this behavior is never going to change. And I think Rahul made a very valid point that we need to understand how soon the user behavior is changing. If you are having the users who are coming up from a new demographics, new geography, your assumptions which are there till now, they are not going to be valid. The same thing applies on when you should send the messaging. What time should you send the campaign out? Most of the marketers either do it as a basis of guesswork, thinking about the use cases that, hey, probably I'm an e-commerce app, and probably the demographics in tier 2, tier 3 cities would be more like, say for my women apparel, I want to target women. And what time will they be free? Let's target them there. The problem with this is that this behavior is also changing, and you cannot use one stereotype or one behavior analysis and expand it to the whole audience that you have. The other point is around channels, where marketers these days are trying to communicate on every channel possible. They are blasting the messages on emails or SMS or push notifications everywhere, or probably they are having their heuristics that, hey, probably push works better than email, or email works better than SMS, or vice versa. I think you might be guessing, why am I poking holes in the existing ecosystem of engagement? What is so wrong here? Probably it's all right because we all are doing it. But rules come with limitations. If we talk here, right, as a marketer, I'm the one who's deciding the rules. But am I most equipped to understand what the rules should be? Can I go deeper and understand what rule or what behavior am I seeing? When we saw the example of play at least 3 times in the last 30 days, the question was that how do I decide that how many times playing a song from a certain language is enough to drive my category affinity? So how many signals should I consider? What should be the threshold for that? And what are the rules of the game change? What is the user behavior change? Can I treat these rules as something which is never going to change? Which is the next point, that why are we treating these variables like constants? At this point of time, these rules, they were supposed to be rules which have to be revisited. But then another problem comes in, that when and how often should these rules be revisited? And is it humanly possible for a marketer who is targeting a base of million, 10 million, to keep on understanding these cohorts and keep on refreshing them on a daily basis? We all have heard rules are meant to be broken, and we believe that it is time to break these rules. Go away from the rules. But then you certainly ask me that if these rules are not there, then how am I going to drive all these pieces? How am I going to understand what is the best channel on which I should engage my user? What should be the category with which I should target him if I'm not using these proxy rules? What is the right message? What is the compelling offer? And how can I maximize my profit? The answer is an intelligent customer engagement platform that can replace these rules for you. Replace them with algorithms which are ever running, constantly updating, which are highly personal and relevant. And that's where you will be able to achieve the right balance of targeting the right user with the right message at the right time with the minimal efforts. Last year, we launched Sherpa, which does some part of this. With Sherpa content optimization, marketers can set up the messages, and the onus is on system to optimize the campaigns so that the engagement is maximized. You can maximize the CTR or a CVR on the basis of after setting up the messages using the content optimization. We also help you with send time optimization, where marketers need not to do a guesswork of after abandoning the cart, after how much time should I send the message. You can let it be done by an algorithm which is helping you there to optimize the delay, and it will decide that after abandoning the cart, should I send a message to a user after 30 minutes or 1 hour or probably 24 hours. And we have seen great impact around here where we have seen up to 22% higher CTR in case of content optimization and up to 35% higher CTR in case of send optimization. Moving into the same direction of the world that we just imagined a few minutes back, we are launching the next offering today. We are launching today the predictive segments based on RFM modeling. RFM modeling is the modeling that you do on the basis of signals around user activity as well as monetization in terms of how recent the user has visited you, how frequently are they visiting you, and what are the transactions that they're making along with you. And this can be used to do a lot more things in terms of what Rahul was pointing out, or what probably is the use case for anyone in terms of understanding that how my category or how my users are adopting a certain category. You can say that how many users are visiting this category and also purchasing from it, and you can create your own RFM models with this. Take an example. Once you have this model in front of you, you can understand and divide your users in these cohorts and understand who are my price sensitive users. How can I send them a communication and sweeten up the deal with them? I will send them a communication which is around the offer. I can optimize the discount and still say that I have been able to convert them. Churn has been the biggest problem from the conversation that I have with marketers, because the customer acquisition costs are rising on a daily basis. All the companies who are looking out to grow, they are using the same channels and probably outbidding each other. So the CACs are completely rising. And with increasing customer acquisition cost, churn becomes a major problem. That if the churn happens, you basically lost on all the money, it becomes a sunk cost. So with RFM, you can also understand who are the users who are about to sleep in some point of time, so that you can target them before they are out of your reach. And I think the last part of Rahul's presentation was around creating the loyal user base. Who are the loyal users to whom you can send a loyalty program, or who are these users who will always going to purchase with you, or who are not going to purchase from competitors or transact with competitors but are going to come with you. The RFM model also helps you identify these potential loyalists so that you can send them a personalized offer and or sell them a loyalty program, so that now they are the registered loyal customers. And this is not it. This does not end at the analysis that we're talking about. With MoEngage, you can use this visualization to understand these cohorts, and also in place you can directly create a segment out of this to analyze it later or to engage this user segment later. On top of this, you can also create the contextual campaigns with just one click, where you say that, hey, these are the users I want to engage, these are the users who are probably I'm losing out, or these are the potential loyalists, I want to target them with a loyalty program. You can also come back onto user RFM transition and see how these users have moved from the low value segments to the high value segments after your efforts. Which is like user transition is calculated over time, which is like last week, if you ran the campaign, you can say that how the users were in these segments a week back and now, and then you can understand that how many users have moved from low value segments, how many users are probably about to sleep and have probably moved to your active users, or probably how many users were hibernating and then have come to become the recent users. So overall, the personalization should not be as tough as it is. It should be easy and powerful, and that's what we aim to achieve. Overall, the future looks bright with MoEngage in it. Thank you all.